And breathing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are live with Michael, Rolla, and Starseed. So let's have give everyone a little chance to hop on because we've got a lot of great stuff happening. Let me go ahead, Michael, and post this onto Awakening Consciousness.
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Let's do this. Share to a group.
Disposed.
Awakening Consciousness. Awesome. All right, cool. So we are now live on Awakening Consciousness.
Nice.
We are live on Starseed, and we are live on YouTube. So lots and lots of fun, cool things happening today. So we can go ahead and get started. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have not already, go ahead and subscribe to Starseed Mystery School, like this video, and also to go ahead and head over to Michael Rolla channel on YouTube and go ahead and subscribe there so we can go ahead and get started. All right. So where are we all connecting from? I love to hear where the grid is interconnecting and all of that great stuff. So please go ahead, write down where you're at. As you guys all know, I am in beautiful Montana. And Michael, where are we connecting from?
The beautiful Great Mount Shasta nearby.
Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome.
Energy. Oh, yeah.
The root chakra. So let's see. Ray, what is up from Eugene? How are you? Everyone that's tuning in, let's interconnect the grid. Let us know your location. Drop your pin. Just kidding. But as always, we're doing something fun on our live. So every time you hear a bit of information that resonates or anything that sounds super interesting, go ahead and leave that emoji sign right here, that money bag emoji sign, that digital dollar, because we are talking all about the digitals, all about the cryptos, and we're here to give you so much wealth of information, but not too much all at once, because we've got a whole series. Michael and I have been working really diligently together to really be creating some great stuff for community, creating new platforms and ways to get out to people. So this is really like our first welcome and introduction into who we are and what we're doing, and really in the first few steps and stages of our mission work that we're here to do together. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's see these comments. Can you see the comments, Michael?
No, not at all.
Oh, no? Okay, so I'll go ahead and keep track over here.
Yeah.
All right. Can you see it?
No, it's going to be too much. We'll do it next time.
Okay. All right. So I would like, every time I do a live now, I like to do a little bit of a disclaimer to all of the viewers and subscribers to our channel. So the more people waking up, the more 5D consciousness is integrated into the collective consciousness and into our collective timelines. And so the more that we can come together through unity and community, the more that we can fulfill this new earth prophecy. It is a collective effort, and this is the reason why Michael and I are emissaries for the evolution of humanity, the bringing of the new earth, the 5D consciousness, decentralization, self-sustaining communities, and the redistribution and transfer of wealth and power back to its people. So that is something that I always like to share with people, so that way they know the intentions, they know the energy coming in. So thank you guys all for tuning in and staying with us while we give all of this great information, you know, that we have accumulated throughout our reality and what we're going through with our awakenings. And we just realize that this is huge, great information that we need to share. So without further ado, Michael, let's hear from you. I'm sure the viewers want to hear more about Michael Rolla. So,
yeah, well, I mean, where do I start? Let's just keep it simple for cryptos, right? You know, awakening, spiritual, all of that. I mean, let's say, you know, Some years now, started a while, long before cryptos. I noticed cryptos. So, the humanitarian side of me has always kind of been keyed up with, the collective consciousness and things like this. And just looking at the world we live in, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of, I mean, it's something we all do anyways. And, just really trying to see where I can help and, make the world a nicer place, I guess is the way to say it. And so it really sent me my interest in martial arts and qigong and stuff like this and tai chi led me on that path. So I really got into like the Taoist philosophy, and energy work and internal alchemy and Reiki. It's been about 10 years, probably 15 or so. Reiki certified, all of that. And when it came around to just later in life, working with energies, doing a lot of meditation, I really started to get into the spiritual side. I've never really been religious, but obviously, there's something there. I've always like, we've had ghosts and stuff in the family, and all that growing up. So it's always like obvious to me. So I eventually started channeling, getting into mediumship, crystals, the whole nine, everything. And it all just came, like with all my energy work and all the stuff I had already done, it happened really fast, like walking through my house and then just, somebody just comes into my house out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, I'm going to stop right here and not even move because somebody just, what do you want? Like, what are you doing in here? It's like 4 p.m., like, middle of the day. And I'm just like, all right, I need to start looking into this stuff. And I mean, the whole awakening. And so I've just been catching up with all of that and really developing my psychic skills. I'm sorry, use my hands a lot. I'm going to hit this like a bunch of times. So what happened for me with cryptos was, I think it was December of 2017 when it blew up to like 20 grand that I just saw it and I went, okay, I should have looked at this before because something
Are you
told me to
talking
look
about
at it
Bitcoin?
before. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, the whole crypto craze or whatever. So 2017 it blew up. And then I saw it immediately. Once I understood what it was, I saw it as the freedom that I'd been looking for my whole life, like on all levels, to set us all free, to bring back the wealth, the abundance, the natural rights that we all have. I mean, it just in spirit, just like rang me like a bell. And it was just like full speed ahead. Wanted to do everything, but I was in the middle of teaching, courses, mediumship, helping this community out also. So it's been a lot, coming, like all the work we've been putting together and, just getting to this point and getting it all out there and really wanting to bring it out into the world. I mean, it's not like it's mine or I own it, but, letting us all know, like when I saw it and understood what it was, I'm like, freedom. We should all be running full speed at this stuff, and so
Right.
I want us to explain that to us all because the communities that we can create this it's going to be, I mean, it's incredible once you find out it's digital programmable money, so you can do a lot with that. So
And
yeah,
that alone is such a foreign concept for people to understand that money can be digital and it could be programmable. I was just, talking about and thinking about how individuals can think of a candy bar and then they have a silver bar, but yet they would still choose the candy bar. So we're still working in a time of humanity where we have to get that consciousness raising a bit to help better understand and become aware of what we have out there to like really help us set us free, especially with abundance and this transfer of wealth. So that's what I really love about you, Michael, is that like, I know like we met through spiritual community, through soul family and through all of that stuff. But we really started to really connect when we talked about cryptos, when you saw me getting into crypto and I didn't know a lot at all. I didn't really know much. And you were like this expert, helping me better understand. And so I just felt that this is totally meant to be for us to be helping people, you know, with our communities, with what we're doing with spirituality, how that relates to cryptocurrency, you know, spiritual and crypto, how that has really been a huge part of my life recently and my abundance. So yeah, awesome.
It's all, yeah, that's what's all happening. It's all everything happening. It's bigger, you know, and I mean, we, you know, as people, I guess we're in our own areas, you know, you work in finance or you work as a spiritual person, right? It's everything. And so, yeah, it's a no-brainer, the overlap, or, you know, like it's normal. It's, yeah, that it's natural, it's gonna overlap.
And for you personally, I do know that it's so natural for you to have a keen eye and like just that psychological awareness for this type of information, because like, again, we have still individuals, a lot of individuals on this planet who would rather get the Hershey's bar versus the silver bar, you know, especially with everything going on. Isn't that crazy?
If I could give you $100 right now, would you take it? Or I could put it in the bank and you could get $200 in 6 months or a year, right? Or a year from now. Would you put it in the bank, or would you just take this $100 right now that I'm holding right in front of your face? Or would you let me, you know, I think there's like a financial, there's a thing like that, or a psychological, right? Like you're saying.
Yeah, it's having that awareness of what's like really out there. So I'm glad that you're going to be able to help a lot of people, and even me too, help people better understand what cryptocurrency is and how to better utilize it. How anyone, you know, your neighbor, to your neighbor's grandma, you don't have to be very techie. You don't have to be a millennial to get this stuff, you know?
We can share it. We can share it between each other. And that's where the community part comes in. The crypto, the spiritual, and the, you know, it's the reason where the way it connects. Oh my God, everything, right? Is just like, it's completely independent. And I mean, you can make it just builds together, you know, the communities we want to help our friends and our families and our loved ones. You know, like I can give you some of the crypto I have. I mean, anybody can give anybody, but it's like when it's multiplied, you know, with all these systems and I mean, the opportunities out there. I mean, you know, we'll talk about that later, I guess, but you know, because there's so many, and we'll have to get into all of that, you know, eventually. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So much we can do.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to talk a little bit about how my journey kind of ties into Michael and how we interconnected. So for me, I actually started getting into crypto. Really, I didn't even know what the word crypto meant until summer of last year. And then a week later, I decided that I wanted to jump into a cryptocurrency platform. And so I basically did this blindsided. I went in not knowing a single thing, and I just immersed into this world, learned a few keywords, and it really intrigued me. And it helped me better understand that I also have this psychological awareness, like this keen eye for something that is new, but may not be big right now, but we can forecast that future and see what it can hold for communities, especially for the people. And when we say like the people, it really means like the masses, the collective consciousness. So for me, I got into a decentralized platform, which is Forsage. And I basically, and Michael does this too, we own smart contracts. And I don't want to get a lot into that, but that's basically how I learned the concept of decentralization and cryptocurrency, and really creating a decentralized way of life. And so that helped me better understand how cryptocurrency and spirituality and with what I'm doing with my life is definitely all intermingled. They all interconnect. So that's really like how I got so passionate about cryptocurrency, was through smart contracts and decentralization. And so that's how Michael and I,
Point. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted to interject how you make a good point with the decentralization, you know, into the spiritual side of it, is because, you know, as we come into the idea of this higher vibrational frequency, or just this way of living where we're more free, that's what it is. So whether you call it spiritual or you call it this, it's going to allow people to live how they want to truly live, you know, with their own coins, you know, whatever blockchain you want to be a part of. On our phones, you know, it's digital, and we're going to be able to be the nomads we've always wanted to be if we wanted to travel your whole life, you know, or whatever. And that way of life is that spiritual vibration that word that so that's how, you know, like it's all coming together. And I think we were saying that before. I wanted to make that point. So
Definitely. And so we talked about, Michael, how we are really for this movement of crypto for the people. So can you, in your own words, best describe what we mean by that?
Yeah, kind of, yeah, alluding to what we've been going with, you know, building the communities and being able to share it. The fact that it's programmable, you know, you just have a coder, set it to, you know, churn out. You could like make a coin that makes more coins when you mine it, which is how the whole, you know, thing works. And then you just pass them around to your communities, and then they'll be worth however much they are, depending on how big your community is and how much.
So you're
we
talking
all
about
contribute to
creating
the
an
community.
economy, right?
Like, it's right. That's what the blockchains are, is they're public ledgers of transactions. And so anybody anywhere, like, you know, there's places where people do that, like they'll set up their own communities, they'll get a charter, they'll become their own you know, with their own laws and stuff like that. Now you can enter a cryptocurrency into that, and then if it's already an established community or somewhat big, you can then offer your services, like say you're a farming community, you can sell your goods and trade in coins, and they could give you your coins, you could give them. I mean, it's a new economy. And that's why there's a lot of you know, I want to say back and forth about like, oh, is it safe, and is it this, and is it I mean it, but the way it's going, it's way past any like question or doubt if it's like
Absolutely.
it's here to stay. And that's why we're all starting to hear about it now. But the importance with the community is getting in now, so we all understand this freedom that is being given to us.
Right.
What we can really do with all of them.
So what I'm really picking up on is the fact that like cryptocurrency is basically, it's just been born. Like this creation has just been born, and it's literally a free field for anybody, no matter what age, race, wealth level, whatever level you're at. On any level, any human has the opportunity to create something big. And so that is why, for me, like I see crypto as something huge and decentralized, like having people better understand. Let's get into that. Having people better understand, like, what is decentralization, which also connects to blockchain. But like decentralized way of life to me is like this is having a self-sustaining community. Not necessarily you do everything, but your community is all that you need. We wouldn't need anything outside of our community that we have created and sustained from ourselves, you know? So what about that, Michael? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on decentralization and blockchain?
That's precisely it. I mean, that's the whole idea of, because we're going to hear that word a million times, decentralization, decentralized, because that's the main thing that it does, is it allows you to not have to keep your money in a bank or, you know, whatever third party that says, don't worry, we're going to guarantee that we have your stuff. You know, I mean, that's what the run on the banks is all about, which, you know, hopefully never happens. But the decentralization just puts it right into your own pocket, you know, or your own. And, you know, people say that, you know, oh, well, what if all the power goes off one day and you can't log in and the internet goes on? I mean, if the whole power goes off, we're going to have way more problems than worrying about, but the idea of the self-sustaining, communities, in decentralizing, taking yourselves away from that. And basically what it is anytime you remove your coins off of the blockchain and put them into your own storage wallets, now it's decentralized, and it's not like it's off the chain, the transaction is still on chain, but it's in your possession. And so now you become your own bank, because now you own shares of Bitcoin, the big bank, right? Or whatever, if you think of it that way, think of each coin as its own bank, but anyone can own any amount of it that they can get in a way. But so decentralization is huge. It's what it's all about. And then the blockchain is, like I said, it's that public ledger, and depending on your use. So that's what all the projects are. Some are like finance projects, some are gamer token things, you can get into, and they're all on their own blockchain, whatever the name of it is. So Ethereum blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, Bitcoin Cash, all of it. And then, the blockchain, it's the public ledger. So it just keeps track. We'd have to get into all the technical details, but it's a way easier way of accounting, and it's a way easier way of like making things way more efficient. So it's like a no-brainer. All the companies are loving it.
It's like a transparent document in a way. And I don't know about document, that might be too linear, but it's just a way where it's open and transparent for anyone to see. So with centralization, it's that they own the data, they own the information, they can censor it, they can do whatever they want with our information. Decentralization is the complete opposite. And what's also interesting about decentralization that I'm just now realizing, as I've been doing this for a few months now, is that decentralization, when it comes to finance, is really untrackable finances. Like, how we are taxed, with our businesses and what we work, that's trackable money. That is for centralized banking institutions to be able to keep track of what we're doing, how much we're making, to make sure that we're not making more than than what we say we are. So that's another way too that I see it as a way to not have control, have that that big papa, that uncle, to watch over. And that's what the centralization is. So helping people better understand that really with decentralization, that does mean that you are your own bank, your own this. So that means like your self-security. And for some people, that may not be, it might not resonate. People may still want to be held and want to have that third party, which is okay. But truly, if people can see, like the Starseeds and the Lightworker Collective, if they can see the power of decentralization and blockchain, it could literally set us all free. It just takes those leaders, just like us, what we're doing, creating these self-sustaining communities, utilizing the blockchain, helping people better understand this. So I think that's really awesome.
It's good that you mentioned, putting people who don't want to put it into something new or be their own bank. If we start to do this in our own communities, then we can be that bank for our families, because we're going to understand how to do it. We're going to be able to send the money to them or whatever, and then generate more coins because we already got them coming in, because we got our systems all set up. We can really self-sustain the whole thing. And I want to say the example, like if I had a Rolla coin, and then someone gets a reading from me or something, like I can give you my coin. Now, who cares? Because it's not going to be worth nothing, right? But, if at some point in your bigger, larger communities, and, I would say I'd redeem them for discount as a personal, we can all do these kinds of things with our own coins. And then, depending on the size of the community, it could be worth, that's what all the coins are worth now. Some of them are 3 cents, 2 cents, 5 cents. It's really because it's all growing. And you talked about, being new. It's it was created in like 2008, 2009. I think it was the end of 8 or beginning of 9, but it's taken this long, and like it goes to show the longevity of it. Like if it really was something that was just gonna die, then it would have just died. But like I was listening to people talk about when they were playing with Bitcoin at 10 cents, and he was just sending it back and forth to a friend of his until it literally burnt itself out in transaction fees for, which pays the miners, which do the transact, so, and it's all built into the system, like automatically. And they figured out so much from it that we can do with it, that it's still here today. And it's, and the way I see it too is, even if when it blew up to 20,000, like, I've been telling people since then, get some, right? Like, and now it's 30, 35. I mean, it's just like, it's a really big wave, coming in, that you see the tidal wave, like 2017. I saw it.
You have to just be able to understand it. Like, take the time to research, take the time to look at people who are actually doing great from this. I mean, surprisingly, when I knew nothing about cryptocurrency, and like that, I was able to learn and to flip money quickly and to help people better do that. And that's just one way. And, Michael, tons of ways, and ways that we won't share it all right now, but if you want to, give a little bit, like, how you're talking about, like the Minecrafts, like the video gamers, like those kids and stuff, they know about this.
Yeah. So your kids, I mean, you touched on a couple of things. You said, it's not really user friendly yet, right? Like you said, get into it and figure it out. And because you kind of have to do that for right now. It's getting easier day by day. It is really simple. I mean, once you figure it out, because once you know how to do it once, you can do it with any transaction, but, and then going into our kids, the kids, I mean, they're going to be, to them, it's going to be nothing. It's just a bunch of digits on for your invest. They're just going to copy paste it from PlayStation 5 over to Xbox, and then they're going to send each other these skins that they spend hours trying to get, or the new armor, or the new whatever, I mean, and the gaming industry already took, I think, I was watching somebody mention that it's taken over the movie industry and the music industry combined, which kind of makes sense, I guess. Music, it's like way easier to get, but I mean, all the kids, man, they're coming, they play those things forever. So it's that's who's going to be using it, and we have a chance to kind of get in first and explain it. Our kids are going to be like, what, you bought Bitcoin at $40,000, like 40,000, because like I said, the one guy, they're sending back and forth until they burn all that 10 cents off, and it's like, you imagine Bitcoin at 10 cents right now. That's insane. I mean, and that's what I started doing. So I saw it. So for the past 3 years, I've just been watching the market and learning as much as I can, so, and I'm still a part of courses that I can attend online. So yeah, there's a lot of info out there to wrap your brains around, and hopefully we can offer some help in that area. Yeah.
Definitely. I think my advice to people who are watching this is just to find people that you trust, like trustworthy individuals. That doesn't mean you have to have a PhD and how many so-and-so years and this and that. You just need to find people who are actually doing it and are actually learning, or who are watching, who are actually in the world. So that's really my best advice to people. And like for me and for you, I mean, I learned from people. I learned from my good friend, Brooke. I learned from who she was learning from. And, you're learning from your YouTubers and all of your people. So it's not like we are looking at this one person, or like these idols and stuff like that. It's truly community. That's the new life. The new way of life is just leaning on each other, truly, you know.
And it allows us to build economies with anybody all over the world and support each other from wherever we are, and really find those people that are we discern are those people. Because that, that's the other thing too, is Bitcoin a scam? Oh, people say, there's money laundering and blah, 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 which is, it's totally silly. There's Bitcoin, I think it's like 3% of all of the wealth in the whole. So, there's no crooks that are taking the time to figure it out. It's not even user friendly. So it's funny when they say it, but it's important to pick, like, because there are scammers out there, obviously, in any system whatsoever. There's bad people in it too, but there's bad people in any money system, in any money system. So, that's really important. Know what they're building, know why, and especially too, like when you're getting into coins, because a lot of people are seeing this as future investments and things like that, or future wealth storage, etc. But if you're going to get a coin, you got to do your research. You got to know what even the industry is doing, because why would that coin be better than? Why is this finance coin better than the other finance coin? You know what I mean? It's and that's the thing. Like, we just have to do the work, like you said. There's literally a brand new economic system like out there that's coming, and we can learn it all now and be a part of like this huge movement of what's happening. Otherwise, one day it's all going to happen. Everything's going to go digital, and then you're just going to give it, where's the bank? Put it in the bank. And there's gonna be, we don't have no bank. You got to get a wallet. What's a wallet? So it's like, it's really cool to see it all unfolding. Like, it's a real system, and it's still here, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, MasterCard's in it, Visa's in it, Sony's in it, Samsung is in it. Like, Warren Buffett is in it, all of these people. He's building a blockchain city in Arizona, the first city. It's going to run on the blockchain. So like, literally, your toaster is going to have a coin value. Your fridge, the energy that you produce in your house, because it's energy based, because it's digital. So the more energy, the more the miners can calculate and run to. And the miners are what set up all the blockchains. Like, the miners validate. So that's the idea, like decentralization too. So it's, you have all these different people, all these different miners, all these different things running the system, and so they all verify each other. So you don't have to. The other part of decentralization, it's trustless. So, which is really appealing for big businesses, because they don't have to trust like people to be good on their end of the bargain. And once you do the transaction, you can't call the bank and say, "Oh, cancel that. Sorry." So no more scammers, for the businesses. Right? It's a good thing. But I mean, it's huge what's coming. It's everything, and it's in everything. So that's gonna be really cool.
Well, I'm so happy and so honored that we get to help people better understand this as a user-friendly type of way, like you said. Like, being able to bring this out to the masses in a user-friendly way. So this, again, you guys, this is really just our first live. Just really want to get a little bit of information out. And you guys, of course, by all means, if you have any questions at all, what is this, or what is that, or how can I do this, or what do you recommend? By all means, this is the time to ask your questions on the YouTube Live. And again, if you guys know, we do have our Facebook groups. You can follow me at Starseed Mystery School, and also Michael Rolla's Facebook group, The Awakening Consciousness. Awakening Consciousness. Yes. So don't forget to connect there. So any questions at all, you guys, please let us know. Because we are getting to our last topic for the night. We don't want to put too much on you guys and have all of this and this and that. We want to be able to give you guys as much information that you can attain. So again, it's just about giving some, being receptive, letting it integrate, and come and tuning in with us again on next Sunday. So before we end, let's see if we have any questions. Okay, Cassie, she said, what is blockchain? We described that a little bit in the beginning, but if you can describe, Michael, in just a few words to someone who knows absolutely nothing about crypto, except that it's a digital coin.
We said it. So to put it maybe in one sentence is it's a public ledger. It's an open source public ledger. So it's a ledger of all transactions that go in and out and it's all open source. So the software for all of it is open source. So it's completely transparent, like Jazz was saying. So the blockchain it's your transaction ledger. It's old school writing every time you wrote a check to who, and every time you got income, and every time it's old school accounting. Well, it's new school accounting.
Right.
So not to say what's going to happen to accountants, but I mean, if this is really, that's going to be, we're not going to need them no more. I mean, I hope we still do, but the miners, so the blockchain, and then the miners mine the transactions, which is all literally like to find the password. Like they're trying to like figure out what the transaction is. So you send a transaction, and then it's got to take the numbers and the digits, all the digital, and your transaction, and the miners have to match it and calculate it and verify it that it went through, that you actually sent like your half. And then once it's done, it puts it up onto the block, onto the ledger, onto the piece of paper, and then it writes it in, and then it goes down the further thing. So
yes, and it doesn't have to be.
Sure.
Blockchain doesn't have to be specific to finances. Blockchain, and something that Michael also said too, just to reiterate, is that this is why all businesses in the future will go to blockchain, because of the fact that it is transparent. So there's no black or gray areas. It's completely 100% clear in every transaction, from this detail to that detail. So from every single process of any type of business, it's going to be 100% transparent. And so also too, what I am seeing and what my guides have been telling me is that with blockchain, it's literally going to be the new internet. It's going to be where everything is it's going to be the new interface of everything eventually in the future. So this is really just like the dawn, just the planting of blockchain on planet Earth before it truly blossoms into what we see every day, whatever we see now as normal.
The Internet of Things.
Yes.
That is, right. There's already a coin if you want to buy it. But yeah, there's everything out there. And I wanted to mention that too. You said we're talking about the transparency. They have coins that are ninja coins. I like to call them, because they're not transparent. So because there are certain transactions that perhaps people are not going to want you're not going to want somebody to know you just sent 20 Bitcoin, so it's like $800,000 to somebody because you just bought a yacht. So there are going to be like privacy options for stuff like that, but it's effectively all traceable back to the very beginning source. So as far as like the systems, like it's coming out, like it's going to be like it's everything's being built around it, like for what people want, what some of those big businesses. But what's cool too is when you have yours, so if you're buying and then you're sending them to your wallet, and you don't want like the same wallet getting them like over and over and over, so people know like, oh hey, look at Jazz, she's got a lot of these, let's try and hack and Jazz, which it's like virtually unhackable anyways, and I haven't mentioned that, but don't worry about that. But like this way, what you can do is you can change your address. So if you have your wallet, you can generate a new address, so then you can send your coins to yourself again on a brand new hash, a brand new address. So it's, oh, like, so instead of buying 100 Bitcoin and sending it all at once, you could send yourself like 20, 20, 20, 20 on all different addresses. So people will say, oh, somebody got 20 here and somebody got 20 there. So you can kind of split it up that way too. And that's why it's so hard to hack, because you can literally generate a new address, like brand new from, the ether, like whenever you want. And it's a brand new transaction. So to hack it, I think they said like it would literally take like a whole over lifetimes, like a whole lifetime minimum to just have the computing power or something. Like it's not worth it. It's not lucrative for hackers. It's just not, so it's like it's the most secure thing like in the world too, in a lot of ways. So.
Of course, yeah. And that's something I feel that in the future, people will better understand the security factor of when it comes to digital programming, and how that alone, there's really no mistakes. Like the blockchain and the algorithms, like it's an algorithm. You cannot mess up an algorithm. It's just the functionality of where things go, So there's actually a question. Yep. Tina, she had a question, which I think, Michael, you could better answer this than me. She said, what exactly is a miner? A computer program that runs digital transactions, ? So maybe that was two questions.
That's close. The miner, you can run the miner on your phone. The miner is typically they're units, but yeah, they're like computer part, like CPUs. They have extremely high CPUs, fast, and they basically just do the computing on the blockchain because they're looking for the code for the transaction. So they validate the transaction. So they're looking for when you send your transaction, and then once you do, they have to create a new algorithm code, a new digital signature, right? That comes from your previous signature, and then it's verified with when you do your stuff on your end, and then it'll post it. And then what happens with miners is there's incentive to be a miner because you get rewarded. So the first miners that verify the transaction get a share of Bitcoin. So the miners are always looking for like the bigger cent package of coin, and they're going to compete. And then the way the Bitcoin is distributed, so there's only 21 million coins ever in existence. So for example, for Bitcoin, and then when the miners get rewarded, they create those Bitcoins. So then there's just so much more with that. But the miner validates all the transactions and then posts them. And then it waits for like a couple other ones. These are the confirmations you'll see. It's waiting for confirmation from other decentralized miners, which are kind of like nodes, right? Validators that support the blockchain. So that's the other part, like community, where the more of us individual little people own these pieces of the new stocks or real estate, or however you want to look at it, the more decentralized it all becomes, and the more for the people, the more we have in all of it. So community is really here right now, and it's time for us to jump on it, so like everywhere, wherever we can, help our communities, families. Definitely. Even if it's little, start a fund for your kids, or whatever, like you're doing anyways. It's probably a good investment, right?
Yes, definitely for your children. I definitely do. I've got multiple wallets for myself, do multiple for you, multiple for your children, your partner, husband, wife, things like that. Galactica, she said, do you invest in different coins or just Ethereum and Tron? You want to answer first?
Personally, yeah, I'm invested in multiples. There's a lot out there, and there's a lot of projects. I mean, essentially every single thing that we have now, I don't want to say it's all just going to be replaced and it's all this and it's all that, but it's all going to go digital. It's all going to have a token value, right? That's what I meant when like with Warren Buffett in the city, like your toaster is going to have a token value. And so, yeah, there's a chart I could show. I'll dig it out, but yeah, it's going to be, I mean, there's so many, and it's all project. Try not to think of it as cryptocurrencies, just as it's all just money. Like we all just want to get money, whatever. And it functions like that. It has a value. But each individual one is a project. And the more you see it like that, you'll understand the communities that you're getting involved in those projects, and really, because there's some bad guys with some coins out there that are going to do great. So I think there's like 8,000 coins out there total.
There's
So,
thousands of coins.
yes, that was the last number I heard, just like this past week or something. But
That's really great information. And Galactica, to be honest with you, Michael has actually been helping me better understand more of the coins out there to really keep an eye out and just keep fresh within your consciousness, to do your research. But for right now, I only do Ethereum and Tron, and it is because I'm just heavily into my smart contracts and what I do with Versage, but that's definitely changing. And of course, the ebbs and flows as you expand with more knowledge in this area, you'll definitely want to invest in others, whatever you feel called. And that's kind of the great thing too about being in tune and being spiritual and utilizing your intuition, having communication with your higher self. You can ask these kinds of questions like, does this feel right? For me on my journey within these past few months, there's been times when some things have dipped, and because of the fact that I've listened to my intuition, where my intuition have told me, go ahead and transfer this much, all of your Tron to Ethereum, or transfer some Ethereum into Tron. By me picking up and following those inklings, I've been able to ride the fluctuations. So that's another great thing too, when you're able to be in this type of world and kind of be able to use your intuition, it will really help. So Galactica, I definitely invite you to look more into certain coins. So Michael, just from the top of your head, what are the maybe top 3 to 5 that you would just like to name drop to maybe look at? What do you think?
Wow. I think a safe one, the first one that comes to mind is Theta. And I've mentioned it to you. Look at
We'll
Theta
talk
coin.
about it for sure more.
Yeah, but the importance and the reason why I say it is because that's the coin that Sony is behind, and then Samsung more recently got behind, and they're planning on that being the new internet. You kind of mentioned the new internet a little bit earlier, and that's totally that coin. And what it does is it solves the broadband issue, solves that buffering circle from bothering all of us, and it does it in a decentralized way where it's peer to peer. So we'll be able to share our broadband with people if we're out of town or whatever, and then we can earn based off of the mining and the transactions that are going on. This is the idea of it, the Warren Buffett being a house, like it's all going to be on the blockchain. So you're going to get rewarded for supplying broadband to your community. And so it's like you're getting money to be your own, we're all going to be our own internet providers, like in a way, right? It's just going to circle money around the community. So check out Theta. I don't know if that's too much to say, but that's pretty much the gist of what they're going for. And then Ethereum, I would definitely say, because that's really safe bet. The reason why Ethereum is so big and so popular and why it's gone up like to 1,200 from 300 in like a month is because all of they're called dApps. So all of our apps that are dApps, D for decentralized apps. So it's all going to go onto the decentralized app systems and the blockchains. And so like every new game, every new app, every new anything that developers are creating, they're using the Ethereum blockchain, because Ethereum was created by Vitalik for that reason, because it was not Bitcoin. Bitcoin was big and slow and bulky, and that's why people say it's a store of value coin. It's going to be for the good billions of millionaires, and they're just going to like, you know, have all this Bitcoin. It's going to be worth so much. But then Litecoin came out, you know, for more transactions. Bitcoin Cash was a fork because the community wanted to make it more usable like that, like smaller scale. And so there's a lot of things like that to look in. But with Ethereum, it's unique because it separated itself so that it could create using smart contracts, which is what you're into and what we were talking about with getting smart contracts on Ethereum. So yeah, there's a lot being built on Ethereum. Only recently did, for example, Litecoin add smart contracts to its blockchain. So Ethereum was ahead of the game in that sense that it already saw the applications that were needed, and it needed a platform for developers to be able to create everything we're going to use in the future. So Ethereum is going to be a monster still, like, you know, and it's one of those things you don't want to FOMO in, you know, but it's like I said, when I saw Bitcoin hit 20K, you know, I was telling everybody, get some, even if you bought it at 20K and you're like, yo, it went all the way down. Now you're at a profit if you would have just held on to it, because, you know, the whole system's coming. So if you like go on coingecko.com, you guys can look at all the coins. And if you get in your top 10, you'll be safe, for the most part. Probably the whole first page is probably going to be okay. But yeah, there's so many coins. You said 3. Okay, let me what's another one? I don't want to see, and that's what happens because it's so new. When you learn to play the market, like you said, you were in the ups and you were in the downs. I mean, that's how it fluctuates. Like you can't, like what just happened with Dogecoin, right? It shot up, and and you know, I'm not talking trash about Doge, but we all know it was created as a meme. It's a meme. That's why it's the dog. It's literally a meme. Like, but people saw it, but it doesn't really have, I mean, I hope that it does great, because anything that does good in the crypto community, that's going to be great, you know, but it shot up to what, you know, really high, and now it's dropped, you know, extremely low. So you have to be careful with the ebbs and flows. And when people say, so in the beginning, and probably even now, if the right people pump, like Elon Musk says something about Doge, I mean, you could, you know, there's so many ways to make money, right? In that way, or to, what's another coin? Sorry, I don't want to give you another coin, but
no, you don't have to if that's it, because I want you to give the
so
information that you want to give. And this is great that you, like you said, I don't really want to name drop because of the fact that there are fluctuations and, you know, things like that. So that's really great information to have.
Yeah, the main point is understanding the systems. Like I said earlier, like what makes this finance coin better than that finance coin? What makes this, you know, they're called DEX coins, decentralized exchanges, where you go on to buy them, like Binance, you know, Hit BTC. I mean, there's OKX, there's tons of them. And like they're the markets. So, but there's coins for those. So then like, well, what market is going to be the best one? Well, honestly, it's going to be the one everyone uses. So it's probably going to be the one that's the most user-friendly, at least for right now, especially at the time of mass adoption, which is coming. All the advertising is coming out now. So we're still a little early, but you have to know the systems, and that's why it's always a gamble, you know, which coin and why, and you got to know the team, and you got to see what they're doing that's unique to something else. But then at the same time, because of this crazy decentralization aspect of it, where we're going to go into our own communities, we're going to need all the coins. You know, we're gonna, and if we can make a system where Denmark ends up using all the Litecoins and then Sweden uses all the Bitcoins, just theoretically, I mean, we're going to want to be able to swap them with each other. We're going to want to, it's going to be like instant foreign currency. I mean, it's like, it changes everything and it shifts. So, and just as
I'm
the
totally
market
with it. I totally see
gains in
it.
value,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to be huge just as we keep going further along. So,
Yeah. Well, I think that was absolutely great, like insight. You know, I feel like a lot of people, even myself, learned a lot from you and all of the information that you have. I've like wrote so many different notes, you know, and for more stuff for us to talk about and go more into detail with different topics every week, you know, to help people better understand cryptocurrency, like from your level, which is absolutely phenomenal, from just your own research. Like, can you imagine, you know, so that's just from your own research. Imagine if someone is learning from you and then learning from a couple other people. It's just really with what you can keep up with, what you can integrate at this time. So I really wanted to just thank everyone for being here. So there was another question from Tina. So no country exchange rate. No, there's no exchange rate when it comes, no country exchange rate when it comes to cryptocurrency, but there are fees when it comes to swapping. When it goes to like from Tron to Ethereum or Ethereum to Bitcoin, all of those different things, there are exchange rate fees, but not necessarily country. So there's no country rate.
It's the minor fees. You'll notice when you buy them, it says minor fee. That's how they get rewarded. And so whoever, this is the point of like, they're already creating them. They have huge mining farms where it's just the units just stacked. And then because whoever solves the equation first, they get the rewards. So the big, huge businesses, there's already one being built in Texas. There's like the hugest like mining facility for America, and there's one in China already. So it's hard for like people like us to actually start mining, really. I mean, you'd probably spend more on electricity over time. So it's not as lucrative as it used to be, but yeah, that's the minor fee.
And Karen, to answer your question, does Forsage work different in another country? Forsage, the platform, it works exactly the same in every country. So however you learned to use it here, it's going to be the same anywhere else, which is also, I think, the beautiful thing about Forsage and smart contracts, that anyone, no matter what country they're from, that they could still utilize it the same exact way that I use it out here where I'm at in good old Montana. So, well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you so much for giving us like your wealth of information. And I'm sure that I'll be chiming in here and there with some stuff when I do have some insight. So thank you so much. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to message here or message Michael, message me, and go ahead and follow our Facebook groups, Awakening Consciousness and Starseed Mystery School. So thank you all for tuning in and have a beautiful night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.